Matt Schaff of DraftSharks.com here to give you 5 of the most underrated fantasy football players in drafts right now. First, let me tell you how I arrived at these picks. It's not just me doing drafts and looking at ADP and saying, that guy should be going earlier. Our ADP pages on DraftSharks.com now feature a market index. That starts with industry ADP on each player from multiple platforms and across many different scoring formats. Then our system compares those ADPs with our projections. Again, customized by scoring format. The result, a market index that shows you whether a player is overrated, underrated, or just right at his ADP. Check it out, sort it by format, sort it by draft platform, get educated before you draft. Now, on to our top 5. Number 1. Jalen Hurts. Probably seems like an odd place to start this list, but drafters are pushing quarterbacks a little bit later in drafts so far this year than they were last year. Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen were all grouped at the 2-3 turn at this point last draft season. This year, Hurts is now going early in round 4. He's trailing Josh Allen. He's less than a round ahead of both Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Hurts has finished second among quarterbacks in fantasy points per game each of the past 2 years. And we have him ahead of Josh Allen this year because he didn't lose Stephon Diggs. He didn't lose his number 2 wide receiver. Josh Allen lost both of those guys from his offense. Jalen Hurts is back as Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith. We don't see a reason that he's going to take any step back in scoring. So Jalen Hurts can be a foundational player for your team across fantasy football formats. If you read our underrated players last year, you saw Josh Allen, and that worked out as he once again led the position by a couple points per game. If you want to keep betting on Josh Allen, even with Stephon Diggs gone, be our guest. That's all part of quarterbacks going a little bit later. Even Josh Allen you'll get at a better value than you did last year. Number 2, Mark Andrews. Similar case to Jalen Hurts. We already know he's a star. Mark Andrews has finished top 5 among tight ends in fantasy points per game for 5 straight years. That included finishing number 1 overall in 2021. He's now going 4th among tight ends in ADP behind Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, and Trey McBride, sometimes even behind Dalton Kincaid. It's possible Mark Andrews finishes behind all those guys, but even if you draft him 5th and he finishes 5th, you're not losing value on him. The position on whole is starting 2 rounds later by ADP than it did last year. So you're not only getting Andrews at a discount within the position, you can spend 3 to 4 picks on other positions and still land him late in the 4th or even early in round 5. What you get is one of the position's most proven commodities and a guy who is 6 years younger than Travis Kelce. So you might be looking at Laporta, McBride, Kincaid, and thinking that Mark Andrews is old. The guy hasn't turned 29 yet, so he's not old. Number 3, James Conner. And really, we could just name this list after him because he belongs on it every single year. A year ago, he was coming off 2 straight number 9 finishes in PPR points per game among running backs. Yet, drafters were taking him in RB3 range. So, James Conner answered by ranking 7th among running backs in PPR points per game over his 12 healthy outings last year. And that was for a Cardinals team that didn't have Kyler Murray for about half the season. Now, I did say healthy games, and that's a concern with James Conner. He's among the best bets at the position to miss time. Our injury predictor page will show you that. That's a reason to draft James Conner later than what his fantasy points might say, but not anywhere near as late as he's going, which is once again in RB3 range. Perhaps James Conner cedes some more work to rookie Trey Benson this year, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's enough work for both of them to be fantasy viable, and either way, James Conner heads into the season as clearly the best bet to lead the backfield. We'll see if any of those concerns prove valid, but what you're getting now is a proven RB1 producer at an RB3 price. That's low risk with big payoff potential. Number 4 on our list, Raheem Mostert. This guy is going 28th among running backs on Underdog as we speak. He finished 2nd among running backs in total half PPR points last year, 3rd in half PPR points per game. I could just end the case right there. But you might say the Dolphins added Jalen Wright in the draft. Devon Achane is probably going to get more touches this year. Yep, and yep, both of those things are true. But they also re-signed Raheem Mostert for 2 more years. Do you really think a 4th round rookie is about to just unseat a running back who dates all the way back to San Francisco with head coach Mike McDaniel? Do you think Achane is about to turn into a workhorse? Or will this remain a variable, high-ceiling backfield in one of the league's top scoring offenses? And hey, what if Devon Achane gets hurt? Again, just like last year, we don't have to know all the answers right now to make a bet on the situation. Mostert's lasting into RB3 range, even in best ball, which is his ideal format. Grab him and see what happens. Number 5, Chris Godwin. You're probably thinking, meh, wide receiver 3 last year, way behind Mike Evans. And you're right. But that also came in Godwin's worst scoring average of the past 5 years. So we're talking about a player with a wide receiver 3 floor. He has also showed that the ceiling reaches way above that. Even last year, Godwin ranked a solid 28th among wide receivers in expected PPR points per game, and an even better 23rd among wide receivers in target share. This year's Bucs plan to play him more in the slot, where Godwin has done some of his most efficient work. New offensive coordinator Liam Cohen is a disciple of Sean McVay, so he should know how to deploy and leverage his top receivers. Still just 28, Godwin's lasting well into wide receiver 4 range in plenty of drafts. That just shouldn't happen. Check out the full underrated fantasy football players article on draftsharks.com now for even more guys to target in your draft. Check out our ADP pages to view market index in your preferred format, and then sync your league to get your own draft war room. You'll never miss out on top values in your draft again.